Warning: the following content contains language that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to the Let's Get Heavy podcast, where we explore the realms of heavy music and have conversation with some of the most talented bands within the genre. And in this episode, we are celebrating 50 episodes of our Let's Get Heavy series. And in this special episode, I got to sit down with Nick and Jack from the Birmingham metal outfit known as Gnawing Hunger, where we discuss the band's origins, current releases, Destiny 2, use of social media, and what is in store for the rest of 2024 and beyond. So let's get heavy. Great. So, guys, Nick, Jack, I'm Steve, and welcome to Get Heavy UK, where we like to just to talk shite and have good times with good bands. So, and yourselves, man. It's good to have you. So, who we're missing? Because there's another 3 members who's missing tonight. So who's missing?
Oh, you want me to introduce them, Jack?
Yeah.
I don't know to talk about these motherfuckers. They couldn't make time in their busy schedule to get here, so we shouldn't even mention. No, I'm joking. So we got Spike. Yeah, we've got our bass player Spike, our drummer Higgsy, and our vocalist Mark.
Nice.
So those are the 3 that we're missing at the minute.
Nice. Well, if they're watching this back, all right, lads. So, origins of Gnawing Hunger. How did Gnawing Hunger come together, and what was the initial influence and goals for the band?
Oh, mate, this is. Do you want me to take that one, Jack?
you crack on, mate. I'll fill the gaps.
Yeah. So just tell me where I'm wrong. So like 20 like seriously, it's about 20 years. We all used to play in a band like a long time. We're not in this form because Mark is fairly new to us. We've only known Mark for the last 2 years, is it?
Yeah, 2 years.
Couple of years. And we all used to play in a band years ago. Anyway, like we were all younger, it's like you grow up and like everybody, moves house, starts moving out and wants to do other stuff. And we'd done loads of stuff in our other band and it was good, but everybody just had enough of it. Do you know what I mean? We'd done 2 or 3 tours. We played at loads of places, for thousands of gigs. Do you know what I mean? It was just ridiculous. At that time, like MySpace didn't exist. I don't think it even existed. No, MySpace existed.
Yeah.
There was no Facebook. There was nothing. Do you know what I mean? There was 0 social media apart from that. So yeah, that was like way back in the day. And then anyway, everybody moved on, did our own thing. And then was it just before COVID or was it during COVID?
Well, I think in the intervening period, we each did different things as well, didn't we? Like we were in, we were each in different bands, and some of us were in bands together along the way. And then, just like literally like 12 months before COVID, we started talking about doing something again, didn't we?
So like it was a bit of a weird one because, like as Jack said, Jack had gone and done his own thing. Jack had started up another band with a couple of our other members, and then they left that one and then joined another band and did some other stuff with them. I kind of just decided I didn't want to do anything really. I was like, I'm too busy. I can't be dealing with it at the minute. And we did that for like, as I say, 20 years. And then, as Jack says, I ended up getting bored, sending some riffs over to everybody. And I'm like, what do you think of this, Jack? What do you think of this, Spike?
I'd also say a contributing factor, rather than just you being bored, is that we all had kids, I think, relatively young.
Yes.
So at the point that we were in like our like mid-30s, where a lot of people that we know are like having kids and getting settled down, we're like not having to be quite as involved with our kids anymore because they're not quite so small. So you're spending more time sat with the instruments again, more time sat at the computer again, whereas and that brings out like a desire to, well, hold on, we're not past it yet, so we've got a bit more time. Should we do something,
Yeah, mate, we have this conversation about being old all the time. You see other bands, and I'm like, are we too old for this?
Here's a stat for you. We played a gig a couple of weeks ago, and it was the first time.
Oh God!
The sound engineer was the same age as one of our kids.
Never.
Wasn't mine. Wasn't one of my children. I'd just like to point out. Wasn't one of mine.
Was it yours, Jack?
Yeah, it was.
It was yours.
Although I'm
Yeah, it
not the
wasn't one
oldest,
of
though,
mine.
I'll point that out. Like,
Yeah,
That's
Jack was a busy boy when he was younger.
but it's
Um,
yeah, I suppose it's one of them where like in a way we kind of like there's a point in getting, I think, in just getting a bit older in music where you can almost be like, oh, are we supposed to not do this anymore? So I think in a way it's something we've talked about because in many ways like being in a band is a young man's game in some way. But then at the same time, like if you've spent your entire life from the moment you could make choices doing nothing but just like music, and then you've had to take like a back step because like life's got in the way, when you arrive out the other side, you can't just be like, oh, let's just live the rest of my life as someone else then.
Yeah.
Like, just because I've hit an arbitrary number or whatever, like, we spent our entire lives just being obsessed with music. If we're not going to do that, then I'll probably die in like 5 years if I just stop. Do you know what I mean? So,
I think you hit the nail in the head there. To be fair, like Jack, I remember listening to a podcast with Steve from Exodus, and he came out and just said, regardless, when you're in this music, when you're in this business, regardless whether you're a fan or a player, you're in it for life. So you know what I mean? You might take you might have a dormant moment where you go quiet. You might forget not so much forget about it, but you might just be busy with other things. But it's still there. There's always something. There's something that will immediately. Don't know what it could be. Like you say, a free time on your hand, or you might even just discover a new song accidentally on Spotify or YouTube, and something will drag you back. It will pull you back instantly. So you
just when I thought I was out.
just when I was free, I was free. But no, the metal gods are like, you are never free. They're just there, just snuggling you, just from behind.
I think as well, like with music, well, with music or with anything, like I think if you know anyone who's been like massively successful, or you pay attention to what people who've been massively successful say, is that along the way they've had to make sacrifices, be it like lives or relationships or whatever. And I think a lot of the time, the reason why we're like the age we're at in a like up and coming band or whatever is that
let's not describe it as that, mate.
what's that?
I said, let's not describe it as that. We're not an up and coming. I don't know. I hate talking about it like that and saying like, oh, an up and coming band. I think that's just like a problem with me. We're just a band that wants to make music and do good gigs. That's
what we do,
and have a good laugh while doing it as well.
But I think
that's it, mate.
Create some memories. Create some memories while you're doing it in the process as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think yeah, you arrive at this point, and it's like, well, it's just what you do, isn't it? So we might as well crack on.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So the band started, as you've just said, during COVID. There must have been some challenges in that period. How did you overcome them?
Oh, you pointed at me.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so mate, it's so like the only thing I'll say is technology is fucking amazing now. Do you know what I mean? It's so good. And like the nice thing is because we were all separate and like there was nothing going on, I kind of just sat and just focused on trying to write music on my own without anybody being there. But also it means that I could do bits. I could do like a verse, just like a random verse and a chorus. I could send it over to anybody really and just be like, can you put this bit down? Could you put a bit of that down? Get it back, get more of an idea for the tune, do you know what I mean? And then we could do it all separately. And then what we then found out was like we can do all the recording ourselves to a standard where we would have paid thousands way back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like in the studio. Like I remember when we did, I can't remember, it was like 8 or 9 tracks, and I think it cost us a couple of grand each. Do you know what I mean? Like this is way back when. And that was a lot of money. And like we can do all this stuff at home now. And then I literally we did all the stuff at home, got it all laid out nice. I mixed the first couple, didn't I? First few tunes that we was doing ourselves, spent hours on YouTube.
I'm really obsessed with it.
Yeah, got really all ADHD about it and like, thought about nothing else. And then it was like, hang on, we can pay somebody to do this and just send them the tracks and they'll just send it back to us and we can make these little changes and it'll, it won't cost us millions of pounds. And all of a sudden it just opened up all this stuff where we're like, oh, well, suddenly we can just bash tunes out super quick we can write them, we can record them, we can get it all done. Everybody can do it at home, and then within a few months, we're like, oh, there's a tune, and then we just send it off to somebody, and we're like, can you mix that and master it? And then it comes back and it's done. It's amazing.
Very quick process now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I mean,
back in the day, it was a case of like, if just the process of writing a song would be like, right, we've had 3 practices this week. We feel like we've nailed this song. If we don't have 3 practices next week, this song will disappear into the ether. Like, it won't really exist. It'll just be a thing that we did once and we can't remember. Whereas these days, it's like, if you have an idea, you could put an idea straight down on your computer in 5 minutes. And even if it's like, oh, the next day I'll send that to Nick, and Nick will send it back the next day, and then people will put drums on. Like, everything's just so much more efficient with being able to communicate. You don't have to drive to some central building and all sit there paying an hourly rate to even speak to each other. Like, just doing this is like, it's all so much more conducive to doing stuff in a band these days.
Yeah. Could you imagine COVID happening in the 80s and when you didn't have this technology? How would bands survive?
How would people have survived? I think I'd have gone mental through it.
Yeah. I mean, no internet for starters. I mean, that is like it's like a problem, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Let alone anything else. I mean, all the venues and stuff are all struggling as a result anyway. Even now, they're still feeling the effects of it and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean?
And it's going to be like this for quite some time, I feel, as well.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. I mean, having said that though, festivals and stuff seem to have done really well. I saw Bloodstock did really well this year. Download did really well this year. Do you know what I mean? Like all those.
Get Heavy Fest did well.
Done well. Yeah. Yes, it did. Sorry. Yes, it did.
Come on.
Yeah, sorry. I should have fucking said that, shouldn't I? Shit. We'll just clip that there, and I'll say that again. No, I'm joking.
Back to back years we've sold out, man.
It's good, mate.
Yeah, man. But yeah, 100% what you've just said there. Couldn't agree more. There's a lot of smaller independent festivals as well, who are doing really fantastic. Thrashchester are doing really well in Manchester. Rapid Fest as well. Do you know what I mean? There's absolutely some fantastic. BMageddon. Honestly, mate,
in that one.
Yep, it's absolutely fantastic. What's happening with the festivals? Yeah, man. So, what does the name Gnawing Hunger specify for the band? A particular meaning and inspiration behind it, or you're just really big Destiny 2 fans?
Well,
because for those who don't know, Gnawing Hunger is an auto rifle in Destiny 2.
It was at one point the best auto rifle as well before they nerfed the shit out of it.
If you want a hint as to what Nick was doing when he wasn't in a band for a while,
I'm gonna kind of guess he was playing a lot of Destiny 2.
Yeah, so on that topic, it was so. Oh God, make us sound like such a bunch of nerds.
No wrong with that, mate.
Yeah, well, the rest of the band don't give a shit about Destiny. To be fair, this was all me.
Sack them.
We were literally
sack them now.
I'll get rid of all of them. So
I tried it. I just, you know.
So we had a conversation about it, and we were doing stuff, and it was like Jack was going on. What are we going to call ourselves? You know, I mean, you've got to have a band name, and it's so annoying because you're like, what? I don't fucking know what band name we're going to have. Who gives a shit what the band name is? Do you know what I mean?
How do we not sound pretentious or stupid?
Yeah, how do we not sound pretentious? How do we not sound cheesy? Do you know what I mean? We're all nearly 40. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck we should be called anymore. We've got no teenage angst, so don't fucking, you know. And then I was sat there one night playing Destiny, and I was like, hold on a minute. I said, all these weapons and metal band names. I'm telling you now. You just sit there, and I just went through all of them, and I just went, Gnawing Hunger, that'll do. What does everybody think? And everybody just went, yeah, okay. And I went, cool, that'll do. And that was it.
It's worth pointing out that in the intervening period, some of the other suggestions people had meant that seemed like a really good option.
Yeah, that was the best one out of all of them. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad it was.
That's brilliant. But no, there's not wrong with being a nerd though, Nick. I play Destiny 2 still, so no wrong.
Good. Well, I say good. It's a bit dead at the minute, to be fair. Like it's kind of died off. We used to raid very regularly. Do you know what I mean? I had a couple of teams. I've got 3 different characters, so we'd always be on, like, you know, during the week doing all the raids and stuff with 3 different characters, getting everything done, getting all the stuff. And now it's just kind of that I feel like it's disappearing, which is a shame. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Cool, that's another conversation.
It's a sore topic, that is, for me, though.
Is it all fair enough? Sorry to bring back some painful memories.
Yeah.
So, so sound. How would you describe the musical style? Are there any specific bands or genres that influenced your sound?
Well, I'd say one of the key things about our band is that Nick is the driving force behind most of the music in the band. And you know, without going into it too much, we kind of believe that if you can't get in a room and jam a lot of the time, it's good to have like somebody who's driving it, kind of keeping that momentum going.
Which is what me and Nick briefly touched on before you arrived.
Right. Yeah. Well, so with Nick just having like, you know, ideas coming out of everywhere, the kind of the rest of us want to provide to him like the bits that he needs that we can all do to then make his music come out. And I think so largely like the style of the music comes from the guitar riffs that Nick's writing originally. And I think Nick's style is very much one that is an accumulation of like a few branches of like his musical interests that he like grew up with. And I think if Nick talks about who his influences are, I feel like you can hear that in the way that he plays. But then what everyone else brings to it is their own version of their own accumulation of 30 years of musical interest. So even if Nick's like, this is how I want that riff to go, like what we provide with that riff will be, you know, an accumulation of us. It won't be like, you know, what it would have been necessarily in Nick's head. So it ends up with like I feel like quite a unique style, like a unique mix that if you tried to do on purpose would be impossible.
Yeah, I hear you. Got different.
Yeah, I mean, I've never like whatever comes out. Do you know what I mean? And if it sounds good at the time, I'm like, right, okay, we'll just go with that. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult because I've always said that we should try and focus ourselves. Like, should we be like this, or should we be more like this, and kind of restrict what comes out. But then on the same token, I'm like, well, if I do that, then like the stuff that does come out there's so much other stuff that I feel is good that's just going to get lost and just get thrown away, and I don't want to lose it. Do you know what I mean? And then when it does come out anyway, and once everybody else has had their input, it changes anyway. So I like so many times I've had an idea, and I'll say to like Mark, our vocalist, I'll be like, oh, you know, I think the vocals need to do, you know, like this. Mark will be like, yeah, okay, I'll do whatever, and off he goes. And then he'll come back like a week later, and it'll sound nothing like what I said, but it'll sound 10 times better because he's a vocalist, and that's what his job is. Do you know what I mean? To put vocals down in a way that a vocalist should, not in the way that a guitarist should. So like the same way as when I talk about drums, I'll be like, oh, you know, I think the drums should go like this, and then no, we'll do it like this instead. And I'll be like, oh, okay then. And then that's a drummer's job. So like, you know, it all changes anyway as things go on. So like,
if as the guitarist you were better at writing vocals than the vocalist, and you were better at writing drums than the drummer, like you might need a new vocalist and a new drummer, might you?
Yeah.
But this is it. Like, you know, everybody's got their job. And like, you know, like, I mean, if even our bass player Spike, do you know what I mean? Like, people go on about bass, and like, you know, they shit on bass players all the time because they're like, oh, you know, play root notes and stuff. I tell you what, mate, that guy, he was born in a fucking bass factory. Like, he came out old, and he came out with the bass. Do you know what I mean? And that's just it. And like some of the stuff, I've sent him riffs, and I've been like, right, Spike, there you go. Like, I've put some bass on it, like, you know, just so that I could get an idea for it. Blah blah blah. And he'll go, yeah, all right. And he'll have a listen. He's like, okay, send me the bass. And he comes back with these mad fucking bass lines on it. And I was like, that I would never have thought of that in a million years. You know what I mean? It's just, it's good to have, you know, this is the best kind of group of musicians that we've ever been in, because everybody knows their part. Do you know what I mean? And everybody brings their own thing to the table. So I'm like, this is what it needs to be. Because if it was just my ideas, although it might start here, it would be really shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It'd be really shit.
You could hear some of the drums that he writes.
There's nothing wrong with my drums, Jack. They serve a purpose of of me having some temporary drums on a track until somebody puts some drums down.
Gives a basic idea, though, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Well, this
yeah.
I mean, this is it. I mean, again, with the whole doing things remotely, do you know what I mean? Like, somebody's got to, you end up, you've got to do something with them. Do you know what I mean? So, but there you go. Sorry,
As well, though,
keep going
it's
on
quite alright. Touching on it as well from what you just said before about should you like hold back and like release it a certain way or release you've got to express yourselves as artists as well. You know what I mean? So my way, it's just release the music that you want to release. Don't try to. It's great if people dig what you want, but yeah, first and foremost, you guys have got to dig it, and you've got to satisfy the artists within inside yourselves as well. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Well,
No, totally. I
we
mean,
have another battle as well, which is as soon as we've made any music, we have to try and get it out before Nick hates it.
I knew that was gonna come up. I knew that was gonna come up. Every single fucking time. Like, if a song's been written for more than a week, I'm like, lads,
I don't like this
I
anymore.
don't think I like this anymore. Like, are you sure? Are we sure we want to do this? Because I think this sounds really shit. And they're like, no. Look, and I'm like, nah. Like, I think I've gone off this, man.
I
Like,
reckon. Like 7 times out of 10, Nick doesn't like the song he sent me by the time I've listened to it.
he's not wrong. He's not.
My job is to like listening to it and then explaining why it isn't shit.
trying to convince them as to why it's not shit.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll keep this. We can keep this. Honestly, we can use it. We can use it. I'm like, oh.
But yeah, I think at the point we're all at, like we all started playing music as kids, and we all went to like we all did music all the time. Started playing gigs as soon as we were able to, and a lot of us went to college, did music and all sorts. So like the point where we're at, it's like if we just do the things that we do, like we'll express ourselves by accident in the sense that like we just do what we do. Like I don't have to sit down and go, right, well, how am I going to play my instrument? It's like at this point, like every bad habit is ingrained. Every weird thing that I do is learn. Like my vocabulary is there. I just make the noise that I make, and it already is like an accumulation of 4 decades of just loving music. You know what I mean? So I think in many ways, like back in the day, we'd have had to have spent hours in the room, like working on something. Whereas now it's more a case of like you hear things and you just let your brain percolate on it. And when it comes to you going and doing your thing, it will be like what you need it to be, or it'll be what represents you, because well, it's been in this brain. This brain is only full of this shit anyway. So no point trying to force it.
Yeah.
So
not wrong.
On the subject of songs, you've released 3 songs this year alone: Swing, Insidious, and The Great Illusion. Is that correct?
Probably.
You probably did.
I think
Probably.
so.
Yeah. Are they taken from Destiny 2 as well?
No. The names. No. I'll be honest. So Mark names all the tunes purposely, so it's nothing to do with Destiny 2. But but no, because like obviously when he writes the lyrics, I'm like, mate, I don't know what you're doing this about. So there's no point me naming the tune. Do you know what I mean? If you're writing the lyrics and putting everything down, you've got to give it a name. Do you know what I mean? So Mark names all the tunes. So if anybody thinks they're shit, it's not me that does it. So.
Like, our artistic input really comes in the sense of the music that we play, and I think that's where we need somebody like Mark, who's like a talented and experienced vocalist who's got his own like artistry and passion. Because like we've spent our lives expressing ourselves through like, oh, chuggy riff, or here's a big fucking fill or beat or something, and it's like, well, the side of music that needs like vocals and like the theme of what's going on and the song and all of that, like as much as we've got love for that part of music, like that wasn't what I was obsessed with as a kid. I was obsessed with like, oh, how did Vinnie Paul play that double bass part, or like what's that riff in that song? Do you know what I mean? So having someone like Mark who's got his own like thought processes and passions and all that, it's like it's great for us because he is so good at it. We just literally go like Nick was saying, we'll go like, oh, something like this, Mark, and then what he brings back to us, we're like, yes, that's so much better than we would have imagined. Like, and at the same time, I mean, he's got the names and the themes and the words.
This is it. I mean, as I said earlier, like everybody knows like their role. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got their own job that they all, and we all kind of do what we know. Do you know what I mean? And Mark is just a vocalist. Like that's he doesn't play guitar. He doesn't do anything else. Mark's like, I'm just a vocalist. And I mean, I say I'm so like, yeah, he's virtually deaf. I say like I'm just a vocalist. Like not me. Like he says he's just a vocalist, but like he's not just a vocalist, but he is a vocalist. Like that's just what he does. So
Yeah.
he's spent so long doing it. He's fucking sick, man. I love that guy.
Like the first practice we had with the guy, like he came, like we kind of weirdly headhunted him in a way. It's like the first time we'd ever done anything like that. And like the first practice we had with him, like at the end of it, he's like, "Oh, was that all right? Like, was that okay?" And we're like, "Don't take this strangely, but like I think I might be in love with you."
He's not honestly, he's not wrong. Like the amount of times, like Mark I'll send, like, stuff, and like, we'll all like work on a riff and stuff, and everybody will try and learn it at home, and Mark's like, right, okay, I'll show you the vocals when we get to practice or whatever. And Mark will do his thing, and we all just look at each other like,
So
how
good.
sick that is. It's like, he's just so good. I love him.
Wish I could do that.
Yeah, honestly.
So
Yeah,
Jack,
go on, carry on.
sweet. Right then. So Jack, you mentioned before that you headhunted Mark. What was he part of another band? Did you see him on stage and you were like, he's going to be my fucking vocalist?
Yeah, well, we found ourselves needing a vocalist, and we'd kind of looked around, through like people that we know and bands that we played in and what have you, the usual way that you do it, all that we'd do it. And out of nowhere, our drummer Higgsy came to us with a story of a guy he'd seen singing in a band, in a tribute band. So like, not a tribute band, like a covers band, like they do a set of.
It was a metal covers band. They were a metal covers band.
And that on this night he'd seen this guy and that he was amazing, and that by chance he'd announced on stage that it was their band's last gig. So then he was like, so he's amazing, and we know he's not in a band. And it was one of them where, like, for a little while, I think we were a bit like, is it weird just emailing a guy out of the blue being like, right, mate, do you want to be in a band?
But that's exactly what I did.
I suppose
in the intervening period, we all got a chance to watch a bit of footage of him, and we were like, yeah, go ask that guy if he'll be our friend.
I suppose it's the context of the email and how you're sending it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So what I did was I pulled my pants down. I sent him this picture. No. So look at this. No.
You want to be in a band?
Ta-da! This is what we do. No.
You ever play the trombone?
Yeah. I thought of that and I didn't say it because I didn't know if it would be appropriate. So I just kind of
really straight-laced.
Yeah, I thought, oh no, I won't say that because I don't know how much I can get away with. But yeah, so it's what it's like. Like I sent him a message on Instagram, Mark. I sent him a friend request and he never accepted it for ages. And I thought, oh no, this guy doesn't use like Instagram, and I couldn't find him on Facebook. And I thought Facebook's always a bit weird because it's a bit personal, isn't it? Facebook is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Instagram's just like, it's just an Instagram account with photos and stuff. It's not like, too much. Anyway, I sent him a message as well, and then I sent him a message on Facebook as well, I think. Not to be like, desperate or anything. And I sent him this message and I was like, look, dude, I fucking love you. We love you. You sound sick. We saw you at this gig that you'd done with your what was his old band called? Generations, the covers band were called. We saw you in Stoke with your band Generations. Blah blah blah. Said it was your last night. Are you interested in being an original band? And Mark is a lot older than us. Like a lot older than us. I say a lot older. You're only as old as you feel, but Mark is a lot older.
Imagine being angry, for saying that. It's going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Listen,
so, Mark.
Mark, I am sorry. He is a lot older than us, but we love him. Like, I literally love him. Do you know what I mean? He's amazing. And yeah, so I sent him these messages, and I said in these messages, I was like, look, we're not going to do loads of gigs. The songs are already written. We can send you like a load of tunes. There's no vocals on them. You can put your vocals down, blah blah. Then we can record them. We'll just release them out a bit at a time. We'll probably do 3 or 4 gigs a year because that's all we all wanted to commit to because everybody was busy. Bearing in mind, 2 weeks ago we did 3 gigs in a week, so like that was all just complete bollocks. And anyway, he came down, and now Mark just wants to fucking gig every week. he would play a gig in your porch if you let him. But do you know what I mean? Mark would play fucking every day. But
Nice.
yeah, so I mean, he ended up coming down as you know, come down to practice, and that was it, man. Like as soon as he opened his mouth, I remember looking at these like I'm going, fucking hell, this guy's like literally like that, stood in the corner like
Me and
Don't
Nick
mind me,
texting each
lads.
other all night. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, I remember driving back. I can't remember if it was you I phoned, Jack, or if it was Iggsy. And I phoned somebody, and they were like, "I knew you were gonna phone me as soon as you left." And I was like, "Wasn't he fucking amazing?" Just like everyone was like, "I love him." So like, yeah, that was that then. So like, fucking like Mark's been in the band ever since. He's fucking
Nice.
sick, proper sound guy, really really nice guy. To be fair, and yeah, he's
He
fucking
might be
amazing.
older than all of us, but he's in better nick than all of us.
So
Right.
after his audition,
Yeah.
then so how long did you wait and say, do you want to be like, offer him the full-time role?
I think
Or was it
I was-
then and there on the spot?
No, I think we all spoke about it. Did we speak about it after? I can't remember.
Mate, I think it was like, just come back, will you? Will you come back, please?
Yeah, I mean, our thing was we were all trying not to be fucking
Obvious.
like really pissed. Yeah, well, not obvious. Like I don't care if he knows I want to bum him. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, fucking fine, mate. You can know that all you want. But like, what I didn't want him to know. No, not what I didn't want him to know. What I didn't want him to think was that we were all fucking weird or just a bunch of fucking idiots. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, we all just need to try and be like, all just be really cool. Don't say anything fucking weird, lads. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't know what this guy's like. Do you know what I mean? You might be like, who the fuck are these cunts?
Coupled with the fact that as soon as we realised that we really like him and he's really good, we straight away then switch mode into like, what if we're not good enough for him?
That was the other thing. That was the other thing. We were like, what if he doesn't like us? What if he thinks we're all fucking shit? Like,
He might be in the band like a week and he's like, lads, what is this?
yeah, exactly. But like, we had to do some like, I don't know about growing up, but we had to be like, right, we've got to be serious about this, lads, if we're going to do this, because like we all live far away. Do you know what I mean? There's no like, we can't just pop out for the practice. It takes Jack like nearly 2 hours to get to the practice room or something stupid when we do.
Damn.
Yeah,
Can't
like,
hike.
you know, it's. I mean, that's Jack's own fault because he lives in the middle of nowhere, so I've got no sympathy.
I live in the Shire.
Jack lives over in Shropshire, like, do you know what I mean? And they don't have many roads over there, so like, he has to be. He has to come by boat and then he has to get a lift up.
Get the windy handle out, get the car going.
Yeah, this is it.
Cool.
So, yeah,
just
like
get the cool gun. Just get the electric running.
Yeah. Give the horse a slap.
Didn't you only get gas about 3 years ago, Jack?
Hey.
Like you're still having it delivered.
Recently, I think.
Yeah, fucking hell. But yeah, so like we all live far away, so everybody's like, we've got to be serious about this, lads, if we're going to do it, because like it's just not going to work, you know. So like, I live in like North Birmingham. Jack lives over like that way, and then you've got Higgsy and Mark who live over up by Stoke way. Do you know what I mean? So everybody's from a good distance, and our bass player Spike, he's over from like Dudley way. So like, you know, we go to practice right by my house, which is 15 minutes down the road from me. And hours for everybody else, which is fucking shit for you lot. But it just happens that I'm in the middle, so bollocks to a lot of you.
How was your drive, Nick? No, fucking rolled out of bed.
Yeah, I do feel bad. Like I'd pop into Mackey's on the way, turn it with a milkshake, and I'm like, yeah, sorry lads, just had my dinner with the wife and kids. You know what I mean? It was all nice. Just
Yeah,
I set off yesterday.
Have you ever just been like, fucking hell, lads, what time do you call this? I've been here 2 hours waiting for you.
Mate, I know better than that. Like, don't get me wrong, we've all been mates for like a very, very long time. Apart from like Mark, who's only been with us recently. Like, we did like tours together in our old band, and like we had a converted horse box, which we converted out with like beds on. Like, we built a wooden frame and we had beds on the top and all the gear on the bottom, and we did like 10 days on that, and we did that like 4 times, I can't remember. And we did that like, you know, loads of times. So we was all super close, back-to-back gigs, do you know what I mean? And then come back and then we'd be gigging again, do you know what I mean? So we all know each other really well.
Yeah.
And I know better than
You,
that.
you could say it means that we can't fall out, but no, it means that we know when not to say things to each other. Like, see Spike walking off stage, you're like, oh, he's had a bit of a nightmare or something over there. I'm not going to ask him anything.
Oh mate, don't. I can't tell you that story. I can't tell you that story. But yeah, there's times when I look over at Spike, and he'll just Spike because Spike doing. He's the thing that Spike brings is he does all of our live sound. So like, we don't have any amps or any cabs on stage. Everything's done digitally, and we all have in ears. We have like a click track that runs all the tunes, or the set is programmed out, all the changes, all the times between, and everything, so that we can have all the backing tracks running. And Spike programs all that, gets it all ready, and he runs like all of that, as well as obviously fucking playing bass on stage as well. So like, if something goes wrong on stage,
we all just look at Spike, fix it.
We all just look at Spike and be like, I don't know, mate. Like, and Spike's like, okay. And then suddenly, within about 5 minutes, if it's not fixed, you know that Spike's fucking squirreling around trying to figure it out. Because if he doesn't figure it out, the whole fucking thing is fucked.
No one's helping him.
Yeah, and nobody's helping him. Nobody can do anything. And we're all just stood there going,
Oh,
don't know, mate. It just makes this weird noise in my ears, mate. Can you fix it? And he's like, I'm fucking trying. Everyone's like, I don't know.
And then someone will walk in like, oh, does anyone know what time Spike's leaving? Like, ask him later.
No. don't talk to him now. Don't talk to him about anything there. Just let him do his thing.
Carrying us all through that.
Yeah, we'll check back later, mate.
So it's safe to say Spike's the technical guy.
100%.
Yeah, he does all of the stuff on stage.
More than once or twice, people have come up to us afterwards, after a gig, and said like, "Oh, we like your setup, or we like the rig that you've got, or like whatever, or a particular thing that you did in your set, or whatever." And they say like, "What do we need to do that?" And we just say like, "You need a Spike. He's over there. Go and have a word with him. If like,
yeah,
get yourself one of him. That's what we did. That's all we know how to
do." Go and talk to that guy, and he'll maybe tell you something about it. You know what I mean? We have no fucking clue. Apparently, he's told me that we've got lights as well that we could take to shows if we wanted to, that would like interact with the set and stuff. But we haven't quite got that far yet. But I'm like, yeah, sweet. Well. Whatever, Spike, mate. If you want to carry it in your car, you want to set it all up, mate, do whatever the fuck you like. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. So yeah, if anybody wants anything technical, buy yourself a Spike or find a Spike.
Just not yours.
Yeah, it's not ours.
Yeah, just
no.
Yeah, it's not. That's not cool. Everyone get your own Spike. Don't nick.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Don't nick those guys.
Send some fucking cunt sending in messages on Instagram now. Like, get fucked.
So back onto the subject of these songs. So with Swing, what was the inspiration behind this song? Where can you share stories or anecdotes about the writing and the recording process?
So I can tell you about the recording process. I can't tell you anything about the lyrics because that's Mark's department, and he's a vocalist, and that is very much for him. But I could tell you about Insidious if you wanted to know anything about that one.
Yeah, that's part of me questions as well.
Good. So, Mark doesn't like anybody. And he especially doesn't like the government. He hates the government, Mark does.
It's kind of goes hand in hand. Metal bands and not liking the government.
It does, doesn't it?
I think the majority of gigs that I've gone to in the Newcastle area, at least, they really didn't like the Tories.
There's a fucking surprise. Neither do we. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody? But well, somebody fucking must do. But anyway,
but yes,
we won't touch on that political topic.
He doesn't like the government.
No, Mark doesn't like the government. So yeah, I mean, like with Insidious and stuff. I mean, it's weird because Mark is, as I've said, Mark is like an older guy. So, like, and we're all older as well. So it's not like we don't have any like teenage angst and all that
kind
of shit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all past that. We've all got jobs. We've all lived on our own for years. Do you know what I mean? So whatever we write about is just whatever comes out. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, especially with in Insidious, like Mark has always got this. He's not a conspiracy theorist at all, but the track is a bit of conspiracy theory madness. Do you know what I mean? Asking the questions of like, who runs the world? Do you know what I mean? Who makes the decisions? Do you know what I mean? Who puts the peoples in charge? All that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And that's like a lot of what Mark questions. And to be honest, as long as it sounds good, I don't give a shit. I'm like, Mark, you do your thing. Nobody trusts the government, so I'm happy with that, mate. That sound, you know.
I'd say like
Yeah.
I think on a like a broader like political, just to get it out there on a political level, I'd say as 5 individual people, we've all got quite different like experiences on life and opinions on life, and I think much like a lot of society, there's various different opinions on how things should be done. I just think the easiest way to explain us is like 5 people, and I think the vast majority of people who somehow end up in arguments is that most people, really, if you boil it down, are just like, can we all just be lesser cunts to each other, and could everyone just be all right? Like, and I think as much as like there might be things in like say Mark's political opinion that we might not all agree on. It's not necessarily like that like we die on that hill of that word or whatever. But the overall theme of the whole thing and anything else that we might put out that comes across political is one of just like, could everyone be all right? Like, could we just stop killing people? Like, do we have to drop bombs on children? Can we just why is that gone in the water? Like, let's just be all right, can we? Rather than like, that's my color, or like, that's my guy. Like, fuck all that. Like, I don't care. Like, we grew up fucking playing metal and partying and hanging out with our friends and trying to have a good time. Like, we're not here to fucking argue with people about it. If that's Mark's opinion or whatever, like, it's not that we're trying to make a statement like the world needs to agree with anyone. We're all just trying to be ourselves in it. So
100%. This is one of the things again that I absolutely love about our community as a whole, not just the UK, as a whole, around the entire world. Doesn't matter what you are in life, doesn't matter the colour of your skin, doesn't matter your sexual orientation, your religion, or whatever. It doesn't matter what walk of life you take. At the end of the day, we're all one, and that's metalheads.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. And I think if you go like almost every single person I know, especially ones who I've seen arguing with each other about like racial issues or whatever, like countless opportunities I've seen through my life where their opinion on a situation or a subject hasn't been influenced by race or anything bigger. Like they've been influenced by their own things. And then all of a sudden, like, I think these days people's intentions are kind of confused, and people like to imply, well, if you don't think this, then it means you think that, and it's all very like, I'm not going to assume that I know what anyone else thinks or believes or what their life experiences are. But if I see somebody being a cunt, I might say, stop being a cunt, like, do you know what I mean?
Moral of the story, though, if anyone is watching us back, just can we all not just get along?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we all just get along?
Or
That's
take
it,
off and nuke it from orbit.
Yeah.
Let's all just get along. We're all friends. We're all friends. So the Great Illusion, how does this differ from anything else that you have done? What were the main themes, concepts that you explored? Or is that again, is that Mark's department?
So that's Mark's department again.
Where is he?
Where is he? Yeah, again, I mean that one is about the government and propaganda and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some big words in there, and I mean like some big words in there, and it is all government based, and like Mark doesn't trust him. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody trusts the government with anything. Do you know what I mean? At any point, do you know what I mean? Any of the governments. And yeah, so like Mark, he's not saying that like, I don't believe in this government or that government, or as Jack says, he's not picking a political side. It's more asking the question of,
why?
Who are these people? Why are they doing this? How are we letting this carry on? Like, why is this continuing? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's basically the question that Mark asks.
What is the purpose, sort of thing?
Yeah, as opposed to this is right and this is wrong, and all that kind of stuff. It's all.
But if Mark might say if he struggles with any lyrics, does anyone help out? If he comes to us and just say, look, lads, I'm struggling with trying to find some lyrics here, I'm guessing.
I would say my only anecdote in that sense is I think there's been a couple of times where Mark has presented me with like an either or situation where he's gone, right, this line, I can sing it like this, and he's giving it a go. or he's gone, or I can do it like that. And my only response has been, can you not find a way to get one in somewhere and one the other way? Because they were both ace. Like, so, like, I don't think, although in some of the bands that we've been in, some of us have played that role of like helping or whatever. I think we're at that point with our own, like what we do, and like Mark especially, where if I was going to try and help him with lyrics, first of all, he'd probably have to give me a few workshops on like how to do it and what I was talking about. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just like a waste of time, really. So, I mean, he basically offers us a chance to have an opinion on what he's doing, and up until now, it's been something like, oh, could that section maybe be a little bit more aggressive there, or that section a little bit less aggressive because the music's going this direction or that direction. But other than that, it's all Mark, really.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys can help with this one then. So you've got 3 songs released so far this year. Is there one song remaining to complete the full EP?
So this is a thing, really, because like my thing with releasing albums is, or EPs for that matter, is if you release an album or if you release an EP with like multiple tracks on it, if you do it in one go, that's it. Like you've spaffed all of them. Do you know what I mean? It's gone. You might release 1 or 2 of from the album as singles, but then if you release like 12 tunes, that's it. You've released it, and then you've got nothing else to talk about for like as long as you're gigging. There's no conversations to be had about any songs, no conversations to be had on social media, because that's what it is basically at the moment, is like having a presence online and like people looking at it and saying, this band are busy. I can see they're busy because they're releasing another tune, or oh shit, they're releasing another video, or oh shit, they're recording more material. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the process from our side is when a song is written enough that we've got the structure, we can all play it, we know what it is, we'll record it, like finalize, record it, get it done, get it sent off, get it mixed, get it mastered, and then as soon as that's back, we plan a release, and then it'll be like usually it's literally 4 weeks from when we'll get the finished recording back.
Are you not sick of it by then?
This is why. Do you know what I mean? This is why all the lads are like, don't be bored of this one now.
Well, it's like that video that we did, the Insidious video. Like, I think it took us like a month to get that out from once we had it, and I was waiting to wake up in the morning and just look at my phone and have Nick being like, you know, I don't like this video now.
Not even funny. It's not even funny. But yeah, so like generally there's probably about 2 or 3 tunes being written at the time, and whichever one, at any time, and whichever one is more, further along, that's going to be the next one.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that's the next one to come out. I mean, it's especially important. I mean, this is my opinion anyway. For bands that aren't big touring bands, for bands that don't have a massive fan base, for bands that don't have shitloads of money, doing one tune at a time and releasing it, there's so much content you can feature around one song online to not only have a presence online, but to make it look like you are doing something. Do you know what I mean? Like all the time without doing too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
So if you're releasing a song, I mean, I'm not going to go into the content ideas, but there's loads of stuff you can put around that tune before you release it, and it's kind of I think it's called the waterfall approach. I think that's what somebody's called it, where it is you just do one at a time, every few months, where you've got a new tune coming out, and then you've obviously got the recording process, which we always take snippets of as well and release bits of that. Then you've got the release process, where just before the release starts coming out, you'll start talking about it. And then when it comes out, you'll start hammering it, and then you'll start sharing it around and getting it out. And then obviously you're advertising gigs around that as well. So people are checking your page because they're like, shit, they've got new music out. Shit, they're doing gigs. And you start advertising your merch to try and, claw back a little bit of money from all the money you just, spaffed on getting a tune ready. Claw back some money that way. And then by the end of it, whilst all that's going on, you've also got another tune in the bag, which is already in the process of halfway through where that one was. last point, and before you finish with that one, you've already got the next one lined up, and then you're doing the next thing with the next one, and you don't have to spend like thousands getting them all done at the same time. You can just do one of them at a time, get them all done out, and then you just release them as and when they come through. If a big label came to us and said, "Oh, we'll give you like 20 grand to go and sit in a studio for like 6 months or something," I'd be like, "Yeah, sound." 20 grand for 6 months, that ain't going to pay for it. Is it 20 grand for like a month, probably?
No, it's just about to say,
Yeah.
where's the maths on that coming from?
Yeah.
From the early 2000s.
This is early 2000s maths. This is, but So like if some record label came back and said, "We'll give you a load of money," then yeah, right, sound, we'd do it. But I mean, at the moment, like it's impossible to be able to put that much time in with us all having home lives and doing other stuff as well. So like any up and coming band, I would always say do one song at a time, release it, and also make sure you've got another one in the chamber that's halfway through the process, so that when that one's come out, you've got another one to come out, and then somebody's always talking about you somewhere. There is something going on online, and at some point I'm hoping it's gonna fucking catch on. Do you know what I mean? And people will be like, "Oh shit, they are busy, they are doing stuff." Do you know what I mean? And then we'll start doing more stuff.
So how do you balance it then? Because there could be an oversaturation of too much content, and people with us. So how do you balance that?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the keys for us is that we learn over the years is that one of the main aims that we've got to keep following is to keep some kind of momentum going. So obviously with kids, jobs, lives, being a bit older, not having the ability to just sack off a load of time and sit and do stuff, it means that if we put time into writing, or we put time into recording or whatever, it's all of that available free time that you had in a window. So like the more of that you're able to do, the less of like the internet stuff you might be able to do, or the less gigs that we'll be able to do. And I think the point that we're at in our lives, it would almost be impossible, I think, for us to be productive enough at this point that we can be productive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm following.
Like, for instance, the video that we recently put out, when we were having the conversations about making that video, even though it would only take a day to make and it would only take a short amount of time to sort things out, when you look at 5 unsynced up busy schedules, that might be all the available time. So like a choice of doing that is also taking the hit of knowing you're not going to be like we could put another single out in that gap, or we could make a video, or we could do a couple of gigs, or we could get in the practice room and really try and tighten something up. So I think when you're having to either or those decisions, it's very hard, unless you're employing somebody else to do the work for you. It's very hard for us to like oversaturate. I mean, I could be completely wrong and people might already be fed up with us, but I like to think that
to be honest with you,
I haven't heard this yet, so
I feel like that as a content creator. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, what is too much? Do you know what I mean? What is too much to keep posting out? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, some weeks could be really good. You know what I mean? Some weeks, well, I might get a lot of clicks, a lot of likes, whatever, on the website or on social media or whatever. But then there's other periods, just one person has viewed it. Do you know what I mean? So it's in the back of your mind. Am I oversaturating?
Well,
it's weird. It's weird you should say it, because like I'll do bits and pieces for like because I try and film a lot of stuff so that we've got content in the backed up, ready. So like there's songs that we've been recording that I've got like video footage for, and we'll record a special vocal track whilst we're there, and that was done like months ago. Do you know what I mean? That hasn't come out. That's like on the back burner. That's there. So like, if we need to post something because we haven't posted anything
stuff
for a
along
week,
the way.
yeah, we can just drop that little tidbit of something. Do you know what I mean? But I'll post stuff and I'll be like, I look at it, I think, this should get loads of views, and then I think then nobody watches it, and I'm like, hang on, what the fuck? And then I'll post like a gig poster, and then that gets loads of likes and stuff, and I'm like, hang on, what the fuck's going on here? Like that's a video content that should draw you in there, and that's just a poster. Like what? I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it, but
it's algorithms as well. I think it's like posting, getting the time, what time you actual post as well. You know what I mean? It's just we could be hard.
Times,
Yeah.
tags, all that fucking nonsense. Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. You're trying to figure all that out. I mean, that is a minefield as well, especially when, like, you know, I mean, that was something else I learned as well, is about, like, when you're talking about oversaturation, like certain what do you call it, platforms will restrict what you post depending on how much you post.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to post anything for a while, and I'll just leave it, and I'll just leave it quiet, because I know that if I keep posting, the algorithm's going to be like, oh, you're not getting much interest, so we won't push it to as many people. And I know things like when people don't log in. So as an example, our bass player Spike, he barely ever uses any social media ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that if he reposts something, because he never logs in and because he never does anything, he gets like loads of reaches on his posts, even though he barely follows any of these people and stuff. It's really weird. But I'm like, repost that, Spike, and he's like, okay. You know, so like it is just a game. You're literally just playing the game. And I mean, you know, you just got to do it, which is, it's shit, but you've got to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. It's YouTube that I struggle with the most, to be honest with you. YouTube, that's the hardest one for me.
It's a
No,
hard, that is a difficult thing
it's
to
mental, isn't it?
post on those.
I do the odd drum cover video that I put up on my own YouTube channel, and it's like the better I think the video is, and the more effort I've put into it, the less views it'll get. And then I'll whack something up that like I didn't even bother editing or EQing or whatever. I just smashed it up, and I'll be like, how has 20,000 people seen that one video? And then like 8 people have seen everything else. What's going on?
This is it.
100%. Yeah.
Just to touch on that as well, Jack is a sick drummer as well as a guitarist. So
Just good.
like, yeah. So we've got 2 drummers. I'm spoiled for choice.
Get in. Oh, at least
I don't feel bad.
if Higgsy Bla's on sick or something, oh, Jack jumping on drum tonight, mate.
Oh mate, I'm telling you, I can imagine Jackie be like, "No, I'm fucking doing that shit."
we played a gig a couple of weeks ago, and as we were packing up, Higgsy said to me, do you miss like playing drums in a band at the minute? And I was like, mate, everybody else has left. I'm going, and you're still backing up. You think I miss any of this? You're fucking mental. Anyway, see you later, kid.
I've loaded my guitars in. Goodbye.
So, go on.
Go on. Sorry, no. Go on.
I was just going to say, back on the topics with your releasing just singles, and when you get to a particular number of releases, where you release them as a full package, maybe it's like a full EP or an album, do a physical copy or physical run, cassettes, CDs, vinyl.
Fucking hell, cassettes, mate. You're going back there.
Mate, some people have started. I've seen it on a lot of bands.
I know.
Now.
I've seen people doing that, and I'm like, you've got a cassette player.
Yeah.
I'll jump in fashion one day, Nick.
I don't. Jack's still got a stereo with a cassette player. I know you have. Yeah, I know he has. Jesus,
I've got a VHS player.
See, look, I was lucky. I got a hand me down from me mum's boyfriend. It was like an old hi-fi, but it came with like vinyl record, CD player, cassette. I was like, yes. I was like, score. So it's got everything. And it sounds fucking brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Bringing back the years. Bringing back the years. Yeah. So I mean, I think this is like, because we do this very much on the fly as well. This is like, you know, you'd be amazed at how much planning doesn't go into certain stuff as well. But like, I think when I figured out how many that we're going to do, and we're going to cut off and be like, that's what we'll do, I think that's when we'll decide if we've got an EP. Do you know what I mean? And I think, to be fair, the thing that's going to dictate that is probably the quality of the songs, because I listen to some of the earlier stuff and I think, that's not a very good song. That isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, just as a whole, I think that's not a very good tune. That was, you know, music that we're putting out and we had to get out because we've got to get something out there and we've got to get it done so that people can see that, like, you know, there's a band that's doing something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, to get us on there and get us out there. And then, yeah, I think the quality of the songs is what's going to dictate that kind of stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but you know, Throne have just released their new album. So that's Buster's band, isn't it? And I mean, he's a fucking sick musician. He is. I I did get in touch with him at some point about mixing some of our stuff. But he's a sick musician, he is. And I mean, I've seen loads of interviews with him, and he's talked about like releasing tunes and stuff. And when he started talking about it, it's exactly what we were doing with stuff, which he was just like, just release a single, just release a single. And that, I mean, obviously they're just like a shitload better than us. but what he's doing is he's doing exactly the same. He's just like releasing a single, releasing a single, releasing a single. And I think of the album, I think there's like 8 or 9 tunes on the album. I think like 6 or 7 of them came out as singles. You know what I mean? Like they just pushed them out and got like shitloads of listens on them, you know, and then just do that. So from my perspective, I think we'll do it until there's enough that will probably fill an album, and then we'll say, yeah, that could be, you know, an album, and then we'll move on to the next one.
I'd also say it comes down to like the response, because as much as like, you know, even if nobody cared, we'd be playing music for the rest of our lives, but you have to admit at some point that if you're playing music, it's because you're trying to like entertain people or provide people with something that they like. So as much as like, regardless of what anyone's response is, we'll always play music. I think depending on what the reaction that we have with the stuff that we continue doing, that will always feed back into like what you do. So like this video, the video that we put out recently, with every view that goes on that video, there's more incentive to make another video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think if we were to put like with the whole oversaturation thing, I think as well there's a degree of thinking like, well, until everybody on the planet's heard you, you're still just putting stuff out waiting for people to hear what you have put out. So I mean, if we were to, you know, release another single in a few months, and from that, like, we got quite a lot of interest in that single and like other music that was out, it would be very hard for us not to then start having a conversation like, well, should we put this out as a release for these people that are interested in it, if you know what I mean? Whereas at the moment, if we feel like with every song that we put out, we may be generating a bit more interest. So it's very hard to then go, right, well, hold on, let's rest on our laurels for a minute and put together what we've done. It's like, well, never mind what we've done. We're trying to go to what we're doing, because we're trying to find, you know, an audience. We're trying to find people who are interested in what we're doing. So I think it all comes down to like, you know, like Nick said about like a record label or whatever, but I think in the same vein, but on a lower level, like just the more people that paid attention to what we were doing or showed an interest in what we were doing, it would then just result in more effort in those directions, if you know what I mean.
Do you still think there's a benefit for actual labels these days? Like going back to what you mentioned earlier on, where you can just, you're sitting in the comfort of your own homes, it sounds just as good as what's being done in studios, etc. Do you really do bands really need labels these days, or do you think it's best to stay independent?
I mean, me personally, I'd say that one, a lot of our own personal interaction with labels, if it's anything over 5 years ago, I think the landscape's changed an awful lot, that it would be kind of naive for us to think that we have a clued in understanding of like how that's really working at the minute. And then at the same time, I'd say on a lower level, maybe not, but then I don't want to use the word gatekeeping, but certain networks of people already exist, and certain companies already hold certain you know, avenues of being seen. So I think at a certain level or in a way, even though it might not be essential, you can certainly get a lot of benefit from the right people being interested in what you're doing and pushing it then to the right people. And
it has its pluses and negatives, really, because like you're saying, they will have the correct marketing people who to push, so they'll hear your sound, they'll know who to push your style of band to.
And they already have those interpersonal relationships where they know, oh, I like when he sends me stuff, or I respect his opinion, or whatever. So I think to a degree, the best advice I'd give to my younger self would have been, don't be so eager to sign with labels, because we've got a few nightmare stories of things that didn't quite go the way they were planned or expected to go. And I think there was a certain naivety of us when we were younger that we kind of felt like, oh, as soon as a label shows you some interest, then just bite that, because that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Whereas if we'd have had more of like a bit more confidence and respect for our own thing that we were doing and tried to build our own thing, I think maybe some of those things would have come along the way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, as Jack says, like, you know, I'm not against against record labels and stuff, but it's changed so much, especially over the last 5 years. And I mean, especially with the advances in like software instruments and stuff now, and the sounds that you can get out of your PC just at home. That I mean, I think I get the feeling that labels are looking for you to generate your own buzz before they take you on now, which is probably makes it even more difficult for bands to get on to that next step, because before the label is going to look at you, they're probably like, well, how many thousand listens do you get on Spotify? You know, how many, what you know, how many thousand views have you got on your YouTube videos? How many thousand followers have you got on whatever? And that's the kind of stuff that they're going to be looking at before they'll even entertain you, you know?
Yeah, but then at the same time, we do live in a world also where an incredibly talented person can just throw out something they've put together and they catch a wave of
Yes.
noticed or whatever. And I think that's something that didn't exist when we were younger. Like some of the people now who've got full-time careers through being spotted through like a YouTube video or whatever, they could have been toiling away for decades in just shitty little clubs or whatever, and nobody would have known. Or they got spotted by the right person at the right time, and I think those opportunities are much broader now. And I think that's a fact. It's just a thing that didn't exist when we were.
Yeah, I hear you. I wouldn't say it's my only wish for labels and record companies and stuff like that is that they would start working with YouTubers, reactors, Twitch streamers, etc. Because, and I'm not saying myself because I'm in nowhere near in league with people like Orion Reacts, Nick Nocturnal, Alex Heffen, all these people nowhere near their level. But how many people have discovered new music through bands, basically through channels like that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you with us? So that's only my wish is that labels will start helping some of these YouTubers, content creators.
I'd agree. I mean, when I was a kid, a lot of the time the bands that I would come across with through like a magazine or through being in a radio, a music shop or being at a gig or whatever. Whereas these days, even myself, like I'm an older person, I'm not like one of the young generation, but I ingest most of my new music through YouTube or the internet or Spotify or whatever. Yeah. So, I don't know who the audience is for those older avenues or if they even still exist, but if the way forward is through those, these modern platforms, you'd like to think they try and utilize the people that are already.
That's it. You would think, but instead a lot of them, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them hurt them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They'll put copyright claims and strikes, etc., on their channels. It hurts them.
Yeah. It's not even that they're not embracing them; and they're actually actively going opposite direction,
going after.
So yeah, and like I say, it's not all of them. I will say it's not all of them. But your big dogs. Do you know what I mean?
It's not helpful, is it?
It's not. 100%. It's not.
It's not conducive to a good relationship.
And let's be fair, like metal anyway is already like grossly, under-marketed and underlooked at, underfunded or whatever. Like our entire lives, it's been a case of like, it's like the music industry's poor relation, isn't it? Like the metal industry or whatever. So already it's kind of at a disadvantage. You think, right, well, those metal labels, or if they are specifically metal labels within their own industry, they're probably like fallen well behind their competition, because the competition's music has a much broader appeal. If they could be a little more intelligent with how they try to meet the future or whatever, maybe they could close that gap a little. But it is what it is.
At this moment in time, I feel it's going to be like this for a good while, especially with like YouTube reactors and TikTok getting involved now as well. Do you know what I mean? The labels should definitely be reaching out to these content people and just, can you mind pushing a song forward? You know what I mean? And instead of trying to cancel them, or what's so much cancel them, but trying to copyright strike them, put claims on them because record companies don't like you making money off their music. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. As where the majority of the bands, they couldn't give a shit. They're just happy because they're getting exposure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've never once
along for the day.
I've never. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I can imagine your expression of Nick Nocturnal or Ryan Reacts could just start playing a Gnawing Hunger song.
Oh,
you know?
amazing, yeah.
You guys will be over the moon. You know what I mean?
This is it. I mean, the conversation that I had with the band, like when we were first starting and we were discussing this stuff, and I was discussing getting out. I don't know if you remember, Jack.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was like, we need to get reactors online to react to the videos. Like, how do we get our stuff to these people? Do you know what I mean? So that people will see these people react to the tunes.
Well,
I mean,
unfortunately for some of them reactors, because they've got to make a living, it requires payment.
Well, I mean,
because it's their full-time job at the end of the day.
Yes, I'm not against payment at all. Do you know what I mean? We've paid for we pay for all of our mixing. Like we put a lot of money into the band for like merch and stuff, and we all collectively put in together. Do you know what I mean? So if there's something that's got to come out, like we all pay for it. If I had to pay for somebody to react to the tunes, as long as the price isn't extortionate, we will pay somebody to react to the tunes. I mean, my only thought there is that they probably wouldn't get a lot of views on that video because nobody knows who the fuck we are, and our music is nowhere near that kind of caliber compared to everybody else.
if you paid for that, they'll push it as hard as they can, regardless. They'll new sick band. Listen to this breakdown. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And they'll take that little snippet of that heavy hard ass slap in the face breakdown, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's filthy." How's this?
I'm the guy in the band who's always trying to be a bit of a voice. I think it's a voice of reason, but it could be a voice of madness in the sense of I try and have this approach of, look, rather than like trying to find 1,000 different avenues to push what we've made out, like the world's already had an opportunity to have heard that, and it have already blown up. So rather than like trying to milk this for whatever you like, move on to the next thing. Make it better. Make the next song better than that one. Do another one. And like, I completely concede it might result in nobody giving a shit forever, and that's fine. But at the same time, I tend to be from the point of view of like, well, we're going to be making music forever. We want it to be the best it can be. Surely, ultimately, the universe works in a way where people will respond to things if they like it. Things will kind of find their way to where they belong to be.
Yeah.
So just put more effort into what you're doing, put more passion into what you're doing, put more expertise and just time and love into what you're doing. And hopefully then in the future, you're not begging people, because we can all go, like I could, go offer enough money to BBC and they'll put it on BBC One with a big poster if you want. But if nobody likes it, don't matter how much paying, you know what I mean?
Oh, good plug, Jack.
Good plug. I'm always thinking good.
Thought, yeah. We had a BBC, an email from BBC Radio 1 today, actually.
Nice.
They're playing. Which tune are they playing? It's Insidious.
They're
playing it on the Alex.
Yeah.
How do you say Alex?
Holborn.
I can't pronounce the last name.
Can't remember. Alex somebody.
Yeah.
This is gonna, at some point in like years to come, if this ever comes out, like somebody sees it, like, oh, they didn't even know your name. Like, I just can't pronounce it, and I don't want to butcher it. But
Holcomb. Sure, that's it.
Holcomb, that's it. Yeah. We had an email today. They're playing us on the Radio 1 rock show this weekend, so that's going to be pretty sick. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Stay awake 1 o'clock in the morning.
But still, if nobody likes it, nobody likes it. No matter how many people.
Well, to be fair, mate, honestly, it's a great opportunity. At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
It is Holcomb.
Yeah,
great opportunity for you guys, and hopefully it gives you some new traction.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is it.
And
I mean, we just want to do good gigs,
and
you know what I mean? So
that's free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, unless you pay your TV license.
That's a whole new topic, that, like, Jack. That's a whole new topic.
There we go. Let's not get onto that one.
But I will also point out, there's some shameless self-promotion. Everything's free with Get Heavy UK. I don't charge. If you ever see us live on Twitch, come along. I don't charge.
I'll get on.
I purposely go out my way and find 10 bands to feature every week. So
nice.
And then
does that take? How long does it take?
It takes a while. So I'll finish a show, and then I've literally, it's been a lot handier for the next 3 weeks. because the bands have come to me. You put a Facebook post
Yeah.
out which kind of blew up, which was like, Get Heavy UK TV's back. Who would like a feature? It's free. Just drop your links in the and just I think like over shitloads of people just commented.
Sick.
Do you know what I mean? So I've got the next 3 weeks sorted. But before that, I had to go into the world of Instagram, Facebook,
Oh,
just look for people. So like
Yeah.
example, I would follow Gnawing Hunger, for example, and then I'll like scroll through. Right, so who's Gnawing Hunger following? Which bands are they following? Who do we share similar interests? And wait, I've never heard of that band. Follow them, check out their songs. Do you know what I mean? It was basically that was the process. But now bands are
It's a
reaching out.
rabbit hole.
It well was, but now touch wood. Hopefully I can continue with bands approaching me.
That's it, mate. That's it. I really hope it. I really hope it carries on. Honestly,
So-
mate. Let's see.
And thank you, because for people like us, like you, people like you are essential. Because there is no, like, people are either not paying attention on the big level or they are. Whereas like on all the levels between that, there's, you know, like as you'll find, as you know, and you're finding out all the time, there's fucking thousands of bands out there working, trying hard, making music, being creative or whatever. And sometimes, even if like you said, like Nick said, you know, somebody who might react to a video, they might not get many views on it or whatever. But from our perspective, already that person like finding our song or taking the time to scroll or reach out or whatever is that little bit of like feedback you might need to go, okay, let's go again. Let's like, because it can, if you don't have like a you know, an unshakable resolve to want to do it, like it's fucking heartbreaking at times. Like when you've put like months and months of work and like you fucking love something and you put it out and like your mom goes, it's all right, and then no one else gives a fuck. Like it's very hard sometimes to go again. Do you know what I mean? So the people who are out there like taking their own time to look at what people are making and just pay attention to it, like it makes a fucking massive difference.
I mean, I've done Twitch streams when it's just been a couple of handful of my friends and me mum who turns up from time to time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Bless her. Bless you, mom. Get her
Does
on.
man?
Get her on.
keep telling her.
Views of you.
Exactly. I keep telling her she's coming to one of the podcast shows with us, but not saying that.
Sick.
It would be sick, wouldn't it?
Why not, mate?
Sick,
Why
mate.
not?
Get her on. This is me mum.
This is me mum.
She's come to join us for today.
Hey, it works for Raised by Owls. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Sam uses his mum. Why not? It works for him.
Yeah, mate. Get on it, mate. Honestly, I'm telling you.
So, guys, we're getting way off topic. What is in store for the rest of 2024 for Gnawing Hunger?
I mean, it's weird because we just tend to just go with the flow, and I mean, talking about an unshakable resolve, I don't quite have an unshakable resolve.
Nick needs propping up every now and then.
Yeah, I do need somebody to hold me up every now and again. But I'm like, I keep saying to the lads, like, we can do this. We can do something with this. Do you know what I mean? We can do some good gigs with this. We can get some good places. I mean, when we were younger, like, our aim when you were younger was like, oh, I've got to be famous. Got to do this. Got to do that. Got to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to play all these places. And we're past all that now. So instead, our focus is we want to do really good gigs. And whatever comes as a result of those really good gigs, that's going to be fucking great. Do you know what I mean? If we suddenly got on the New Blood stage at Bloodstock or some other shit like that, do you know what I mean? If somebody got in touch with us and said, you know, oh, do you want to play like Get Heavy Fest? Do you know what I mean? We'd be like, yes, let's get on this festival. Do you know what I mean? I'm in there, Jack. Shh, I don't think you know. Like, you know, this is the thing. But to get to those places, we've got to keep releasing music and we've got to keep being busy. We've got to keep doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And if keeping busy and if keep doing stuff means releasing music, doing other gigs along the way, then that's what we'll fucking do. Do you know what I mean? Because we just can't stop. You can't stop playing music. I mean, part of the reason why we're doing this is because right before we got together, like before we'd finalised everything, like before we got Mark, we had like 4 or 5 tunes that were done. And I was like, these are done. Do you know what I mean? We just need a vocalist for these. So like as soon as Mark came on, it was like bang, 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 bang. We just like tased through them. Do you know what I mean? Got got all the vocals done, got them all recorded, got them mixed, trying to get them out there as quick as we can, so that we can start doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because we just want to do good gigs. We're not necessarily looking to be famous. If that comes along the way, then fucking great. But like, we just want to do good gigs and just like, we're not kids anymore, but also we can't stop playing music. So
I think it's fair to say, like, through our own lives, like we've all done things with the bands that we've been in that as kids we aspired to doing. Like we've all played with people that we grew up listening to, or played places that we've always wanted to play or whatever. And I feel like we've arrived at a point where it might seem like, oh, you don't particularly have any goals, but it's more a case of realizing that like the goals were never the thing. Like all my closest friends, like the best men at our weddings, and like the people that our kids grew up knowing and play with their kids or whatever, like those are the people that we've met along the way. And like every memory that we've made, every place that we've been, every new town that we've been to, every new group, every new band that we've met like decades ago and we still know now and we're still friends with, like that was the whole point. Like when you look back on it, it was like the whole point was living your life the way that you wanted to live your life. And like if you're playing to 20 people or you're playing to 25,000 people, like the way I want to live my life is in my free time, when I've got a chance to choose what I do. I travel with my music and I go to a place and I play to new people and I hang out with people that I love and I have a good time, and we do that. So like the for me, the goal is like just keep making music, just keep being in a band, just keep being out there. So like for 2024, the bare minimum for the rest of the year is we'll do a handful of gigs, like whatever we can find, whatever comes our way, whatever looks like the right thing to do. And at the same time, we'll always be writing music and looking to put some out. But at the same time, like the open mind to the journey, like we'll do whatever falls in our lap, like we'll do whatever happens. But if whichever weird twist story takes next, like we'll poke a finger in there and go that way and see what happens, So hopefully it's somebody going, oh, do you want to come and play at this amazing festival that we've put on in the north east of England?
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, if you've ever wanted to go and see where the Vikings landed.
Well, it's a bit more south than that, do you know what I mean? Because it's technically gated where Get Heavy Fast is, which is literally, I don't know if you've ever been to the Toon before, but it's literally, if you know where the Tyne Bridge is, it's you go over the Tyne Bridge, it's on the right. So it's technically Sunderland.
I love Sunderland.
What?
We all love Sunderland.
No,
love
Sunderland. No. Whoa.
No, we do.
Right,
no, we do.
Right, that's it. You're sacked.
No, we do.
Cancelled. This is fucking done. You fucking
shit. I took it too far.
Fucking Geordie's here, man. What you talking about? They fucking Magnum's here.
Wrong side of the river, Nick.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, sorry. We should go back.
That's what we say. Anything past the Tyne is south, and it's Sunderland.
So my only experience with Newcastle is my old bass player is his family from up there.
Oh, it would.
We went and spent, I think it was like 2 weeks, where we lived in his uncle's shop, looked after his shop, and then next door was the local pub. And
Nice.
I was about 19 maybe, and my overriding feeling was one of just like everybody that I met could have been a stand-up comedian. It was just hilarity and just ridiculousness, and everyone was cool, and it was just.
You're getting the brownie pounds in here, lads, for getting.
Up in the van.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Hang on, just before we go. Hang on, I'm just trying to check. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
What's that?
Trillions.
Trillion still exists.
No. There was a venue. There was a venue we played like a long time ago on the tour, and it was up in Newcastle. I'm sure it was. I'm not going to say the name of the venue because it's not there anymore. But we played up there, and it was one of the most mental gigs that we played the entire tour. And it was so good that every other tour that we did afterwards, we always made sure that we went back up there, even though it was fucking miles away from everywhere where we'd been. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure it was up in Newcastle. I am sure it was. I won't say the name of the venue because it's not there anymore. I've just Googled it and it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, but it was fucking sick, and the people there were mental. So yeah, that's my only fucking experience of Newcastle was that venue that we played 3 times, 4 times.
107. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This is it.
We'll have to talk after we're finished. But before we do, when's the next song released?
Well,
I've got a rough date.
We've got a couple in the chamber, haven't we? So I think over the next 2 to 3 months, we should hopefully have at least another one out, and then probably be close to another one. Hopefully, I would say.
Yeah.
I will allow a snippet on the song title if you've got one.
I have got one actually. What did Mark call it? Hold on. He likes one word names.
Is it more government?
No, it isn't.
It's not a government song. Wait,
It's not a government tune.
It's a love ballad.
It's
TV licenses.
It's about Mark's hate for the Tories and TV licenses. What was it? Oh fuck! I just got the name of it then, and I've just completely forgotten it. What was it called now? Imposter. That's the one.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's I know. I think I already know what it's about. Anyway, I think it's about.
Sounds government.
No. It's about Mark thinking that, like, where he is, he probably shouldn't be there. So, you know what I mean? Like, is he, is he doing the right thing? Should he really be where he is now, and all that kind of jazz? So yeah, but yeah. So the next one's called Imposter.
We've all felt in some way at some point.
And can we expect that drop relatively soon, or is it a month or so?
I think I'm trying to think about how ready it is. It's like, how ready is it? I think I'm waiting for Spike to put the bass down, and then when that's done, it'll go off to be mixed and mastered. It's got a couple of little bits here. We try and at least get it so that we can play it together before we do a gig with it. Do you know what I mean? It's before we release it so that we can at least do it at a gig. You know what I mean? And we're at a weird stage this time because before we had them all backed up and like they were all ready to go. Like, it was just a case of just rolling them out as and when. And now we are like writing them and releasing them and then trying to do others as well at the same time. But yeah, I hope in the next month or so that'll be out.
Sweet. Cannot wait to hear it.
There will be more, and then maybe another one soon after that one.
Interesting. Very interesting. So guys, before we do call it a night, what would you like? Anything that you wish to plug before we finish?
No.
Don't
listen to our music. Whatever you do,
right,
do not listen to it.
Don't listen to Nick, everyone. Don't listen to Nick.
Don't listen to our music. It's fucking terrible. Don't share it with anybody. Don't tell anybody about it. Don't check out any of the videos. Don't buy the t-shirts because they're shit. Don't do anything. Don't do anything with any of our stuff.
Most importantly, never listen to Nick.
I'm with Jack. Follow Jack's rules.
Yeah.
Where can we find the band? Social media? Where can we find us?
Instagram. Oh God, I'm trying to think of all the fucking handles now, mate. You asked me this now. Gnawing Hunger UK on Instagram. Facebook. It's the same on TikTok. It's the same on Threads. It's the same on X or whatever it's called now. Is it X? Twitter? That's what it was called. You can find us anywhere. Spotify, YouTube.
OnlyFans?
Not yet. We're trying to talk Mark into it. He's got the best body.
I tell you what, Mark, right? Honestly, he's like an action man. If you ever saw him with his top off, right? I'll tell you this story before I go. The first, just because. So, like, the second practice we ever did with Mark, right? He's only short anyway, so he's not a very tall guy, and obviously he's a lot older than us. And fuck me, he came into practice and we did the practice and it was boiling hot in there. And I was like, I'm gonna take my top off and stuff, like not take it off, like just taking his hoodie off or whatever. And we'd all stood there, and I remember looking across at Mark and being like, "What the fuck?" And then I looked across at Jack, and Jack's going, and we were like, Is that real?
How come that old man's got a gladiator's body on?
Yeah, like seriously, he looks like, you know, when they put the things over their head and they've
Yeah.
got, like, you know, the chest and that. That's exactly what he looks like. He spends like fucking 4 or 5 days at the gym, like watches what he eats religiously. Like, you know what I mean? He's super
Constantly.
careful. Honestly, constantly snacking, small meals, high protein.
Telling you how to stretch.
Yeah, it's like doing his stretches before we do gigs and stuff as well. And he's like, you know, a good 10 years, 15 years older than we are. Do you know what I mean? He's got like a much better body than I am, and here's me with a herniated disc at like nearly 40.
Well, there you go.
Mark's there, like,
How do you finance the band? Get them on OnlyFans.
this is it, mate. I'll send you some pictures later. You can have a look. Tell me if it's worth it or not. Yeah.
Of course.
Have him on the Twitch stream, just in the corner.
Sexy bears.
You just bring the views in. Do you know what I mean? You know, they have those gifs in the corner of the Twitch streams when somebody subscribes. We just have a picture of Mark doing his little dance with his top on. I'll send you one later. We'll get it over.
Action man, Bell, blue pants.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that's it. Yeah, definitely. When somebody unsubscribes, it'll go red.
To be fair, it's what I do. I just pimp out my friends. Like we've got me my friend from Killanova. She did a 2-step video in a pumpkin outfit. So that's an actual command on Twitch.
Sick. That's class. I'll get a gift together with Mark and send it you.
I want one of all my moderators, just doing something daft.
Yeah.
This would be funny.
Sick, mate.
Nice.
How many moderators have you got on your Twitch? Sorry, before we...
It's quite a way. I've got my wife, Bella Biohazard, 13th Hour, who's Sean Payne, who works with us at Get Heavy UK.
Yeah.
His partner, Charlotte, Dan, who goes by Kearns Rosa on Twitch. He helps us.
You got a fair few then.
Yeah, I've got a fair few. And War Rich as well. So yeah, I've got quite a few. Dan
cool, man.
helps us with all the well, he did. He's sadly no bad intentions or anything. He just doesn't want to. He just hasn't got the heart to continue with the music scene anymore because it's just too much bad. It's
hard work.
It's not that hard work. You'll know yourselves, and I imagine the Birmingham scene's too much as well. But you'll every time you open social media, there's a band shit on another band. There's a promoter shit on a promoter, or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It's
the drama. The drama.
Constant drama, and he can't be bothered with it. What's the point?
We are like pathologically adverse to drama, so like we just do our absolute best to not be involved.
Likewise. I'll just can't be bothered with it. I'm pushing 40 myself, and it's like, nah, I can't be bothered. Yeah, right.
I'm still happy when I can wake up in the morning and my back still functions.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh
yeah.
Just
top and bottom of it, it's just drama. That's all it is. Which I don't blame him. Kind of blame the fact. I
suppose if you're trying hard, especially if the only reason that you're involved is because you're trying to like help push bands when it's wearing you down.
Yeah, that's weird. That is, isn't it?
It's got to be hard, man.
Yeah, it can be, but yeah, it's just too much shit. I mean, I've got to you've got to find a way to push out the negative and just focus on the positive.
Well, I'd say with our entire like musical journey to this point, like. It's probably been fucking hundreds of people who didn't like me. I couldn't have told you. I've paid so little fucking attention. I don't give a shit. Like I've probably been stood right next to people who fucking hate me, and I've just been oblivious to it because I'm just la 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 la. So you know,
I could be exactly the same, but I just ignore it. I'll always any drama related. If I see anyone, you know, just having a go at another band for whatever reason or a promoter, I just.
I think if you grew up anywhere near the 80s or 90s and you're into alternative music, from our most fundamental like getting into this, it was clear that most people didn't like you. So I'm just used to it.
It is basically it is basically a generational thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Some people just thrive on the drama. Do you mean?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But unfortunately, though, it's that type of shit that gets all the likes and the clicks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? On social media?
It does, mate. It does.
Let's have a fallout, Nick.
That's what we should do right now.
Yeah. Should we start one on?
I think we should. We'll pause it right now, right? And we'll be like, you fucking dickheads. That's it. Get off.
You fucking prick.
Ah, that's it.
And he wouldn't put us on his festival.
No, who wants...
fucking even want to be there anyway. I can't believe he wouldn't do it anyway. Fucking cunts. I hate a lot of them. Clip that, and then you can put that as the fucking intro.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be good.
Comically challenged.
Leave it out, you bastard.
Oh.
Mate, I'm on the way. That's why I'm wearing a hat. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I'm just in denial at the moment. That's all, mate. I'm telling you.
Holding on to that last
So,
haircut.
Mate, I'm telling you, like, every time I have it done, I'm thinking, oh, is this going to be the last one?
That's brilliant.
You'd be like one of them people from Japan back in the day, just had a bit on the back.
I'm just tempted to grow the beard really long and then tie it over.
Nice. Have a pineapple.
Maybe he's put in a bow.
See, mate. Do what you got to do. Do you know what I mean?
Just
First time I met.
Just keep laying it round.
First time I met Jack, he never had a beard, and I remember the first thing I said to him was, "I was like, you know, when you have a shave," and he was like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you just do that?" Like with the with the foam, and then like 2 days later, he sent me a video just of him with his head covered in foam and all his face, and he's just out having a shave. Like,
don't do the eyebrows, you're fine.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Just don't get carried away, and you'll be all right.
Oh, guys, thank you so much, man. For by the way, is there a band website as well? I forgot about socials.
No.
I
I think we've got a Bandcamp which you can buy T-shirts through, but I think most of it is we've got like a link tree.
Yeah, plug that fucking merch, boy. Plug it. You buy that merch.
Yeah, we've got buy a T-shirt, please, for the love of God, because we're still trying to get the money back from the ones that we've bought. We're all poor. Do you know what I mean? If you listen to the song, we'll generate like half of a penny.
And
listen.
Please do it on Bandcamp Friday.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing that would help us is if you listen to our music and you don't think it's terrible, and you happen to be near somewhere we're playing, just come along.
Agreed.
That's it, man.
That's it, mate.
And who's best? Where's best to contact for any promoters out there? Who's best to contact for gigs?
Me.
You.
Gnawing Hunger Band at gmail.com is the one. That's it. Just send us an email to the email address.
Invite us to your dinner party.
Yeah. Dinner party. All right.
Yeah. Mark will play in your porch.
Tea.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Tea and crumpets. That's what I like.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not get onto food with Jack.
Have
that discussion.
Hold on. How did you just say it there? Was that scone or scone?
Scone.
That's all right. Can't see if you said scone. This interview's not going out.
Definitely a scone.
It's definitely a scone.
I basically live
fastest cake in the West.
We don't even have scones around here.
Could be worse. We guys, we like to end all our interviews like this. If you haven't been or seen one, or even our Twitch channel, the rules of the pit are the rules for life. When someone falls, we pick them up.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers, dude.
No worries.